Tornado formation. Although not everything is known about the formation of a tornado, we do know that tornado develop within thunderstorm and that a unconditionally unstable atmosphere is essential for their development. Most often, tornado form with supercell thunderstorm in an environment with a strong vertical wind shear. The rotating air of the tornado may begin within a thunderstorm and work its way downward, or it may begin at the surface and work its way upward. The first we have to examine the tornado that form with supercell, and then we will talk about the non-supercell tornado. So supercell tornado, how a supercell tornado form. Tornado that form with supercell thunderstorm are called supercell tornado. A supercell is a thunderstorm that has a single rotating updraft that can exist for hours. These updrafts and the pattern of the precipitation associated with the storm, if we notice that the humid air is drawn into the supercell, it spins counterclockwise and rises. Near the top of the storm, a strong wind pushes the rising air to the northeast. Heavy precipitation falling northeast of the updraft mixes with dry air. Evaporative cooling chills the air. The heavy rain chills air then descend as a strong downdraft called the forward flank downdraft. The separation of the updraft from the downdraft means that the downdraft is unable to fall into the updraft and suppress it. This is why the storm is able to maintain itself as a single entity for hours. So tornado are rapidly rotating column of air. So now the question is, what is that they start the air rotating? If we look at that um, there is a directional shear in the vertical as the surface wind are southeasterly and a kilometer or so above the surface they are westerly. There is a speed shear in the vertical and the wind speed increase rapidly with the height. This vertical wind shear causes the air near the surface to rotate about a horizontal axis, much similar like a pencil would rotate around its long axis. Such horizontal tube of spinning air called vortex tube. This spinning vortex tube also form when a southerly low-level jet exists just above the weaker surface wind. If the strong updraft of a developing thunderstorm should tilt the rotating tube upward and draw it into the storm, the tilted rotating tube then become a rotating air column inside the storm. This rising, spinning air is now part of the storm structure that we called it mesocyclone. As area of low pressure, a small cyclone, perhaps maybe 5 to 10 kilometers across, the rotation of the updraft lowers the pressure in the mid-level of the thunderstorm, which act to increase the strength of the updraft. This updraft is so strong in a supercell, sometimes exceeding 90 to 100 mile per hour, that precipitation cannot fall through it. So southwesterly wind aloft usually blow the precipitation northeastward, If the mesocyclone persists, it can circulate some of the precipitation counterclockwise around the draft. Okay, now at this point, the storm development, the updraft, counterclockwise swirling precipitation, and surrounding air may all interact to produce the rear flank downdraft. Rear flank downdraft to the south of the updraft. So the strength of the downdraft is driven by the amount of the precipitation induced cooling in the upper level of a storm. Downdraft appear to be essential to the process of tornado formation. However, if a downdraft is too cold and strong, it may inhibit the lifting needed for tornado formation. In fact, relatively warm rear flank downdraft appear to be more conducive to formation a strong tornado. Okay, when the rear flank downdraft strike the ground, as it may under favorable shear condition interact with the forward flank downdraft beneath the mesocyclone, that cyclogenesis start. So as a pre-existing boundary, such as the old gust front flow may also supply the surface air horizontally spinning that can tilt it and lift it into the storm by the wind outdraft. Okay. The air rushes upward and spin around the low pressure core of the vortex. The air expand, cool, and if okay, and the air beneath the funnel cloud is drawn into its core. The air cools rapidly and moisture condenses and funnel cloud descend towards the surface. Upon the reaching the ground, the tornado circulation um, usually picks up dirt debris, making it appear both dark and ominous. This ground-based debris may become visible before the funnel cloud is connected to it, while the air along the outside of the funnel is spiraling upward. The Doppler radar revealed that within the core of the large violent tornado, the air is descending towards the extreme low pressure. So tornado within supercell usually develop near the right rear sector of the storm, on the southwestern side of the northeasternward moving storm. So the tornado formation usually very complex, and still it is yet to be known the real mechanism of the tornado. So now we talked about and try to understand supercell tornado. Next we will be talking about non-supercell tornado formation.